Help yourself to some water. Okay, everyone, we'll get started. Delighted to say I'm joined by the two-time US Open champion Brooks Koepka in the interview room. Brooks, you were very much in contention throughout the Open at Royal Birkdale last year. How much are you looking forward to challenging again for the Open at Carnoustie this week?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it feels nice to be back inside the ropes, playing again. And Carnoustie is obviously a tough test, but I love links golf, so I'm looking forward to it. A lot of creativity you're going to have out there with the fairways being so firm and the greens being a little softer probably than most links golf courses. But it should be a great week. The golf course is set up really well, and it'll be fun.
Okay, we'll open the floor to questions. If you raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. Microphone number one, just at the front here.
Hey, Brooks. Spinning off of what you just said a little bit, obviously your strength is your length so much, and it worked out obviously extremely well. You know, 2 years ago at Erin Hills, and then obviously you had to kind of dial things back a little bit at Shinnecock to some degree. Did that kind of show a little bit, you know, that you're not kind of a one-trick pony in terms of your length and that being your only major asset, so to speak? And how does that play into to being creative this week?
Well, I think I've always been one of the best putters. I know statistically, I think we're always top 10 inside 8 feet. So I just don't think many people know that. You know, they get infatuated with distance and they only see that. And, you know, yeah, we do hit it long, but there's quite a few guys that do hit it much further than I do. So, you know, I'm a good putter. My short game's come a long way in the last few years. Maybe the last 5 years it's gotten tremendously better than where it was. And I always strike it well. I'm always a good iron player, fairly aggressive sometimes, but in the majors we kind of tone it back and just hit center of the greens and let the putter take over from there. Yeah, I mean, I can take advantage of long golf courses, but, you know, I enjoy plotting my way around probably more than the bombers golf courses where you got to think, be very cautious sometimes, lay back, you know, and firing at the center of the greens. You got to be very disciplined, and that's the kind of golf I enjoy.
As a quick follow on that, from what you've seen practice-wise here the last day or two, how many drivers will you hit, do you think? Maybe, or if any, maybe just on the par fives?
Yeah, I think there's 8 or 9 drivers we hit. You know, depending on the wind direction, you could hit more. It's so burnt out where there's a lot of opportunity where, and the rough's not quite as thick as I expected it to be. I thought, you know, coming here, I knew it was obviously a very warm summer, not much rain, but I still thought you'd play the golf course, a lot of irons off the tee, lay back to the bunkers, but sometimes we can just take all the bunkers out by hitting driver, especially no rough. If you can get it within 40 yards of the green, why not? You know, guys, and Sunday we're driving it into the burn on 18. There's no reason not to take advantage of that, you know, especially with the rough being not so thick. You know, there's some spots where it is thick. You know, it seems to be the one place you can't miss it on every hole. There seems to be a little bit thicker on the one side, but you know, you just take that side out of play.
Okay, the next question from microphone number 4.
Brooks, you say we, and a lot of people say we, and there really seems to be sort of a team mentality with the caddy, and I wonder, you know, what's that process like for you? What do you ask of a caddy, and is it particularly important on a week like this when you sort of have to think your way through a round and maybe, you know, put a little more thought into shots?
I mean, I just say we. I mean, I can start saying I. It doesn't really matter.
But just in general.
I mean, a lot goes into it. You know, every decision I make, it's bounced off my caddy. Everything we do on the golf course, it's, you know, a decision I might make, or, you know, sometimes he's got to pull the reins back and be like, listen, just, you know, you need to hit the center of the green. There's no reason to go at this flag, and he'll kind of exaggerate it a little bit how bad it's going to be if I go at the flag, stuff like that. But I mean, it is a team effort. You know, everyone's grinding. trying to make sure that I'm playing the best I can, have a good game plan, and attacking the golf course the way I should be. And then once it comes to Thursday, it's just me and Ricky. That's it. Those are the only two people that can do anything. They're the only two people out on the golf course. And, as long as we've got a good game plan, I should be all right.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Okay, the next question, Doug.
What's faster, Brooks, the fairways here or the green Saturday at Shinnecock?
That's interesting. Shinnecock. These are just obviously just by a smidge.
What was the first? What was kind of the first moment when you got here, when you realized how much they were rolling, and what kind of immediate adjustments did you make in terms of what you're doing off the tee?
Yeah, obviously when you got here, you saw how brown it was, burnt out, and there's no grass. The ball, if it hits a downslope, it's just going to keep running. It's very burnt out. As far as adjustments, you just got to make sure you're going to get some crazy bounces, and they might bounce into some bunkers, and they might roll an extra 30 yards. Sometimes you got to kind of expect that. We talked about sometimes if you hit into the slope, you could be 30 yards back here and not get the roll that you expected, or you could hit the downslope of it and you're an extra 30, 40 yards longer than where you should. Why'd I end up here? It could be a case of that very easily. It'll be very interesting. I think you're going to see quite a few bad breaks where guys, almost the caddy could say, there's no way you could reach this bunker. And we were hitting 4-iron, I think, over 320 yards on some holes. I think the interesting one is going to be 15. It's very hard to hold that fairway, being left to right. I think the predominant wind is basically down out of the left there a little bit. And you almost have to hook. We were hooking 5-irons, landing them in the left side of the fairway, and they're still rolling through, almost into the gorse. So, you're trying to take the bunkers out, but yet, if you get a good bounce, it could be up in the gorse. So it's very interesting.
When you heard that Harrington drove into the burn at 18, did you believe it?
Yeah. Yeah. I could see it. You hit a little bit of a downslope, and there's no grass to stop it. Once that ball keeps rolling, it's not going to stop. But it'll be very, very interesting. It's if you got a front pin and you land it on the green, a pace or two. But if you land it short by a yard or two, you could be 30 yards over the green very easily. Nothing stopping it if it comes in hot. So I think. A lot of it will depend on pin locations. I think they can tuck them a bit more with the conditions if it doesn't blow, 30. And then, you put them more to the front, more to the back, and so you can watch balls just kind of roll over the greens, or more imagination will be used.
Okay, next question from microphone number 2 at the back.
You won the Scottish Hydro Challenge in 2013 in Aviemore. How good does it feel to be coming back to Scotland and playing here?
Yeah, it feels good to be back. I enjoy links golf. I think it's so much fun to play because of the creativity you can use. I think step over a shot and I can see 7 to 10 different ways to play the shot, and to me that's fun. And you start using your imagination, and the best player will win this week. I think that's always the case with links golf, where you're trying to avoid the bunkers. Obviously they're a penalty or a penalty shot, and going into one of those, and you're trying to take as many of those as you can out of play. But it's a fun test of golf, and I'm excited to be back and hopefully play well this week.
You've obviously won back-to-back US Opens. What would it mean to you to win the Open Championship here at Carnoustie?
It'd be unbelievable. Obviously, the last major I played, I won. So I've got confidence, and then you come here, and I think it'd be amazing to win a major on the Open. I think it's special to me, obviously, starting over here, beginning my career here in Europe and playing, a few links courses, but mainly around Europe. it would mean a lot. It really would.
Okay, the next question from microphone number 1.
Brooks, you got a check for about 35 grand when you won that Scottish Hydro Challenge 5 years ago. Now you're picking up checks for over $1 million in US Opens. Does it seem a bit surreal that it's come that quickly in such a short space of time? And when you come back here, do you think this is sort of where it all began for me? This is where my career really took off?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thought process I have. I didn't have any options, really many, when I turned pro, except to come over here and play. And, I enjoyed it. It was, and I've said this a million times, it was the most fun I've ever had playing golf. Probably the funnest time of my life coming over here and playing. I enjoyed it way more than I probably do now, playing on tour. Going to dinners with, you've got a group of 7 or 8 guys, and, in the States, you just you've got your team or, the people you're around, wife, girlfriend, guys go home to them. You don't see guys coming out for dinner, watching the football matches, things like that. It was a bunch of fun, and I really enjoyed it. It was by far the most exciting time in my life.
Obviously, your career has gone into the stratosphere since then, but do you kind of miss it? Do you miss being able to go out for like a couple of beers after a round? It seems like it's a more relaxed kind of way to go about business.
Yeah, it's definitely more relaxed. It's more of a when we were playing, it felt like the whole tour was on the plane. And then, you get there and there's 2 hotels and everybody's staying in a small town, and everybody goes into the town and eats together. And I found that's so much fun. The whole restaurant is basically guys that are playing the event and their families or whatever, but everyone would go out. And it was so much fun. I really did enjoy that part of it. It was cool. Looking back on it, I wish it probably could have lasted a little bit longer, but then part of me doesn't, because I can move on. But it was so much fun, man. It really was. I can think back jamming like 4 guys into a taxi cab, and I forget where we were, in Kenya or something like that. But it was fun. Those are memories I'll probably have for the rest of my life.
Okay, the next question from the front.
Brooks, in talking to you and Claude after Shinnecock, it was pretty clear that the fact that you were kind of overlooked in the large picture it fueled you a little bit. I know you haven't teed it up really since then, but I just wonder if there's been any evidence of that changing a little bit for you, or if you'd expect it to be, a little bit more of a spotlight on you, or more profile, or more expectation, or anything like that kind of thing.
I still feel that way. It's kind of funny. I remember who was it? Someone told me they were laughing. I guess ESPN or something like that. And on their Instagram page, someone was showing it to me. They've got the day we won. They've got like Odell Beckham dunking a basketball. It's like, well, he should be able to. He's like 6'2". He's got hops. We all know that, and he's got hands. So, what's impressive about that? But I always try to find something where I feel like I'm kind of the underdog. And kind of put that little chip on my shoulder. Even if you're number 1, you got to find a way to keep going and keep that little chip on and try to get better and better. And I think I've done a good job of that. I need to continue doing that, because once you're satisfied, you're only going to go downhill from there. You try to find something and get better and better, and that's what I'm trying to do.
As a 2-time U.S. Open winner, and what's the next step? What's the next step in terms of having to convince yourself? Obviously, maybe you have to manufacture some things like that to feel like you're disrespected or whatever. A lot of athletes do that. Mm-hmm. What's your next tactic on that?
To win this week, I'm teeing it up this week. So, I've got. I'm 28 years old. I've got quite a few more majors to play, quite a few more tournaments to play, and I've got a number in mind that I want to get to, and try to beat that. That's the goal. And if I can get there, win that that many majors and that many tour events, it'll be. I can look back at it and say it was a successful career. But right now I'm focused on just winning. That's the only thing I've got in my mind. sometimes second place just isn't good enough. I finished second a lot, and just tired of it. And and once you win too, it kind of propels you. You kind of have this mindset where you just want to keep winning. And it breeds confidence, yes, but you want to have that feeling of gratification of, I finally did this. How cool is this? I mean, you think of when you're 7 years old on the putting green, when you're hitting putts, to win the Open Championship, U.S. Open, Masters, PGA, whatever it might be. And then when that finally becomes a reality, it's pretty cool.
Okay, Doug again.
What number in mind do you have?
I'm not telling you guys. I can't tell you.
I don't think so. I was just curious on that Scottish Hydro Challenge. Where was it? Do you remember?
Aberdeen, I believe.
It was up in Aberdeen. And was that the one where you flew down to Sunningdale the next day and qualified for the Open?
Yeah. We actually, as I was taking a taxi, we actually got a flat tire, so I had to help the guy change the tire on the way down, and then went out the next morning and played.
From those days, without getting into too many more details about taxi rides and strange restaurants, how hard is it to convince yourself that you're as good as anyone in the world when you're not playing against the best in the world? How do you use that path in terms of building your confidence?
Well, I always felt I was good enough. I felt like there were certain steps I kind of had to take. It's hard to be that person that comes out and gets, Jordan Spieth, comes out in 7 starts and you've got your tour card, or however many starts it took him. I think it probably took him like 5 or whatever it is. But I mean, that doesn't happen. I knew that I had to go through the Challenge Tour and just work up that progression, Challenge Tour, European Tour, PGA Tour, and then, finally become, the best player in the world. But there's certain steps, and I embraced it. I think that's where a lot of guys go wrong. You are where you are, and make the best of it, instead of, guys put their head down and they're like, well, I should be on the PGA Tour, or I should be on the European Tour, where, well, guess what, you're not. So you've got to suck it up where you're at, make the best of it, and keep plugging along, and try to win everything you can, because eventually, if you're good enough, you will get out here.
Do you think if you had done what Jordan did, because you guys tied at Q School, if I'm not mistaken, right? If you'd have gotten an exemption and fluked your way into a second place finish and had card, you would be where you are now.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to get any exemptions. That was the only thing.
Kind of needed to work with me on this, Mike. My point is, do you feel like you needed to go through some of these steps and kind of this minor league route to get to where you are? Yeah,
looking back at it now, yeah, I absolutely did. At the time, I wanted to be, I guess, Jordan Spieth. Go out there, get the exemptions, do it. But looking back, I don't think I would be where I am today. I don't think I'd be sitting here, with 2 majors if I didn't do that. I think it really helped me grow as a person, grow my golf game, and like I said, it was the best time of my life. So I don't regret anything coming over here. I think it really is beneficial for me, but in the same sense, I don't think everybody can do it. I don't think it's made for everybody.
Okay, we've just got time for the 3 questions that are left, and we'll start with number 2, just in the corner.
Brooks, last year, I don't believe you played an event between the 2 Opens. This year, you obviously added the Travelers. Was there anything else different in terms of your rest, your celebration, and your preparation this year as opposed to last year?
I played more golf this year than I did last year. I played 3 times, or I hit balls 3 times, from Travelers till Sunday. It was pretty much the same thing. I shared it with one of my best friends, my family, and it was pretty much the same routine. To be honest with you, it was fun. We enjoyed it, but I'm excited to get back inside the ropes and start playing again. I think you need to enjoy it. Anytime you win, really embrace think about what you've just done. And the fact that it was, I guess, the first time in however many years, 20-some years, really reflect on that and enjoy it. And then, I've got to go get another major. That's the thought process right now.
Okay, the next question from microphone number 3.
Brooks, since you're not going to tell us the number, can you at least tell us if you're on schedule? Are you ahead of schedule? I can't imagine that you're behind schedule.
Yeah, I actually am aware. I think I should be. I mean, I've had plenty of chances. I don't even know how many top 10s, top 5s we've had. Look back at the Open at St. Andrews. Lost ball right there, probably. And I think we finished 3 behind. We were playing behind Tiger, and nobody could find the golf ball. Make triple on the hole on 12, easy hole. You make par there. You never know. And then I thought the PGA that Jimmy won. I had my ankle injury, and then trying to play however many holes, it just didn't work on the back 9. I was just dead. I couldn't even push off it. But to be in contention there, I thought I probably should have squeaked one of those away. But yeah, I mean, one behind schedule, I guess you could say. But yeah, I've got some work to do, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and this final question just from number 4.
Yeah. Brooks, I believe it was before your first U.S. Open title that you said as a kid you wanted to be a baseball player, and that maybe at times golf can even be a little bit boring. Just wondering, now that you have 2 Open titles and can challenge for a third on a course that takes a lot of creativity, do you still feel that same way about being a baseball player?
I mean, I know I picked the right sport. I do know that. Yes, baseball to me is probably more exciting. Golf can be a bit dull at times. To me, I mean, I enjoy just watching the guys pitch. I mean, when they're throwing fastballs at 98, hitting the corners, right on the corner, stuff like that. I mean, just such a good pitch. A curveball that just makes a guy just shake his head and walk back to the dugout. That to me is interesting, watching. I mean, it's easy to say because, you ask most of these guys and they wish, baseball players, football players, basketball players, they're all trying to play golf. So it's the same thing. You always want to be doing something you're not. But no, I know I picked the right sport, and I'm glad I picked golf.
Okay, everyone, that's all we've got time for. Brooks, thanks very much for your time, and good luck this week.
Steal this water.
Yeah, go for it.